Rome was buzzing again, not because of a film premiere or a television award, but because of Yaman. The actor who had recently sworn to focus only on his work was suddenly at the center of a brand new storm. This time, it wasn't about career moves, a cancelled project, or even his ex. It was about something much more dangerous in the world of fame, love. For weeks, tabloids whispered that Ken had been seen with someone new, someone who wasn't from the entertainment industry, someone completely unexpected. At first, no one believed it. After the emotional chaos of his last relationship, fans thought he had sworn off romance altogether. But then came the photos, blurry at first, but unmistakable. A dinner in Trastevere. A hand reaching across the table. And that unmistakable look in his eyes, the look people hadn't seen since the early days of his rise to fame. The woman? Her name hadn't been confirmed yet, but insiders called her the mysterious blonde. Some said she was a journalist, others claimed she was part of a production crew. What was certain, however, was that she wasn't Sarah Bluma, and that was enough to set the internet on fire. Within hours, #KenYamanNewLove was trending worldwide. Comments flooded every social platform. Who is she? He moved on already? Sarah's not going to like this. The drama escalated when a well-known Italian gossip magazine published a headline that read, "Yaman's Secret Nights, a new flame in the Eternal City." According to their report, Ken had been spotted leaving a luxury hotel twice in the same week, always late at night, always with the same woman by his side. People close to him insist it's not what it looks like. "They're just working together," said one source. But of course, when it's Ken, even a coffee turns into a scandal. Yet something about the timing felt different this time. After months of silence, the actor who once claimed to be done with love suddenly seemed alive again. Smiling, glowing, lighter. "He's finally opening his heart," said a close friend. But not everyone is happy about it. Because as the whispers of this new romance grew louder, other forces began to move: jealous exes, furious fans, and even people within his own circle who feared that history might be repeating itself. And while the world debated whether this was true love or another storm waiting to happen, Yaman himself stayed completely silent. But sometimes, silence speaks louder than any statement. The mystery didn't last long. Within days, Italian paparazzi confirmed what everyone had been whispering. The woman by Yaman's side was Elisa Marino, a well-known lifestyle journalist who had once interviewed him years ago, back when he was still the rising Turkish star everyone in Italy was falling for. At first, people thought it was coincidence. But sources quickly revealed that the two had reconnected earlier this summer during a charity gala in Naples. "They spoke for hours," said an insider. It was supposed to be just a friendly conversation, but something changed that night. He smiled in a way he hadn't in years. What started as a few casual meetings soon turned into something undeniable. They were seen together again, not at events or parties, but in quiet corners of Rome. A late-night walk near Piazza Navona. A Sunday breakfast in a small cafe by the river. And then, the photo that broke the internet, Ken holding Elisa's hand as they crossed the street, trying to blend in, but failing completely. The story exploded. Headlines screamed, "Yaman's new love revealed." Fans went wild. Some were supportive, "He deserves to be happy." But many others weren't ready to let go of the past. Under Elisa's Instagram posts, the comments turned brutal: "You'll never be Demet. He's just using you to get over Sarah. Enjoy your 15 minutes of fame." Elisa stayed silent. She turned off her comments, stopped posting, and vanished from the public eye. But those close to her say she wasn't prepared for this kind of attention. "She's a private person," explained one of her colleagues. "She's not a celebrity. She didn't expect her life to become international news overnight." Meanwhile, Ken was torn. Friends say he was furious about the online attacks. He wanted to protect her, but he also knew that anything he said would only feed the flames. "He's been through this before," said one insider. "He knows how quickly the media can twist the truth." But behind the calm exterior, trouble was brewing. Some of Ken's longtime collaborators were worried. He's finally rebuilding his career, one of them told a magazine. The last thing he needs is another public scandal, especially one involving love. And just as things seemed to be settling down, an unexpected voice entered the conversation, someone from his past who wasn't ready to stay quiet. The story was about to take a darker turn. The silence didn't last. Just when everyone thought the storm was starting to fade, Sarah Bluma reappeared, and with a single comment, she reignited the fire. It happened under a gossip post that featured a photo of Can and Elisa walking through Rome hand in hand. Thousands of comments flooded in, but one stood out. From a verified account. From Sarah herself. Some people move on too fast. But running away doesn't mean healing. The internet exploded. Within minutes, screenshots of her words spread everywhere. Sarah speaks out. Can's ex throws shade. The triangle is back. Even though she deleted the comment just an hour later, it was too late, the drama had already gone global. Insiders close to Can say he was furious. He didn't expect her to do that, revealed one friend. He was trying to start fresh, to leave the past behind. He felt betrayed. Meanwhile, Elisa reportedly broke down after seeing the headlines. She wasn't prepared for this level of attention, said one of her colleagues. It's one thing to be in love. It's another to become the target of a fan war. In the following days, the situation spiraled out of control. Hashtags like #Team Sarah and #Team Elisa took over Twitter. Fans argued non-stop. Old videos, interviews, and behind-the-scenes clips of Can and Sarah resurfaced online, reigniting nostalgia and conspiracy theories. Some claimed Can had never truly moved on. Others insisted that Sarah's comment was just bitterness disguised as wisdom. But one thing was clear, his new romance had become a battleground. A close source to Can's mother, Yaman, even stepped forward, saying, "He's not the kind of man who jumps from one love to another. If he's with someone, it's because he feels something real." Still, the damage was done. Elisa, feeling the weight of the pressure, decided to take a step back. She stopped answering calls, cancelled appearances, and avoided the spotlight completely. When paparazzi spotted Can alone days later, his face said it all, tired, tense, and distant. Reporters shouted questions at him. "Can, are you still with Elisa? Did Sarah's comment hurt you?" He didn't answer. He simply got into his car and drove away. Behind the scenes, sources revealed that Can had asked for space, from Elisa, from the media, from everything. He wanted to protect her, but also himself. "He's scared," said one insider. Not of losing her, but of losing peace again. But destiny wasn't done testing him yet. Because 1 week later, something unexpected happened, a private moment that would change everything, and make the world question what really lies behind Can Yaman's new beginning. A week later, when everyone thought he had disappeared again, Can Yaman stepped into the spotlight, but this time, it wasn't for a movie, an event, or a magazine shoot. It was for the truth. He appeared at a charity gala in Rome, calm but distant, dressed in a simple black suit. Cameras flashed from every direction. People expected a statement, a denial, maybe even a scandal. But what they got instead was something no one saw coming: honesty. When a reporter asked, "Can, are you still with Elisa?" he paused for a moment, smiled faintly, and replied, "Love isn't about being seen. It's about being understood." Sometimes the world forgets that. That one sentence silenced the entire room. It wasn't confirmation, but it wasn't denial either. It was deeper, a quiet truth spoken by a man who had lived through chaos and finally learned peace. Later that evening, an Italian journalist shared a small detail the public hadn't noticed. Before entering the gala, Can had briefly stopped outside, looked up at the night sky, and whispered something to himself. The reporter said she heard him say, "Let them talk. I know my truth." Hours after the event, Elisa finally reappeared online, not with a selfie, not with a statement, but with a short post on her Instagram story: "When love is real, it doesn't need to shout." The world immediately understood what it meant. Despite everything, the gossip, the backlash, the jealousy, they were still together. But what shocked fans most wasn't the romance itself. It was how Ken handled it. For the first time in years, he didn't react with anger or pride. He didn't fight the rumors or feed the drama. He simply lived. In a long interview published days later, Ken finally opened up about what he'd been through, without naming names. "I've learned that love can be beautiful and painful at the same time," he said. "But the biggest mistake is to let other people decide what it should look like." He admitted he wasn't perfect, that he had made mistakes, and that he was still learning to trust again. But his words carried something new: peace. "Freedom isn't being alone," he said softly. "It's being with someone who lets you be yourself." The article ended with a question: "Are you happy now, Ken?" And his answer became an instant headline around the world: "For the first time in years, yes, I am." From that moment, the noise faded. The fans who had once fought began to understand. Sarah stopped posting. Elisa stayed private. And Ken? He moved forward, quietly, gracefully, free. Weeks later, he was seen walking through the streets of Rome again, alone but smiling. The man who had once been chained by fame, haunted by heartbreak, was finally living on his own terms. And as one reporter wrote the next morning, he didn't just find love again. He found himself. Because in the end, that's what this story was really about: not scandal, not jealousy, not revenge. But a man who learned that sometimes, the truest kind of love, is the one that sets you free.